And it is time for today's Elko Live. So pleased to have in studio today Jill Tingey. And Jill Baker-Tingey is the County Extension Educator for our UNR Extension Service right here in Elko. And Jill, we're so happy to have you here. You have been a department leader, an educator, and a proud contributor to our community now for some time. So thanks for being on the radio show.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here today.
Jill always brings us a great update in what our local extension service is offering. And I was visiting online, and there are so many great staff members in so many different professions and emphasis. We're really fortunate.
We are. We have such a great office and staff members, and then all the links that we have to the university too that can bring more information to people here in Elko County.
Extension serves the county through education and all kinds of that can be really critical issues. It can be helping farmers and ranchers, teachers, caregivers, government officials. A lot of research is done through Extension, even home gardeners and entrepreneurs. So you'll just find an amazing assortment of opportunities at the Extension Service website or in the office at 701 Walnut Street. So with that, we'll kind of jump into an opportunity which I always encourage people, especially if you're new to Elko and maybe you're job shopping or just trying to meet people, but maybe get involved as a volunteer, right, Jill?
That's right. I thought, it's National Volunteer Month this month in May, and I think it has such a nice tie to also Mental Health Month. And I did a quick bit of research. We did a big study a while back here in Elko County, and then I just did kind of an update with a quick literature review to see what the research is still saying about volunteering. And here's a few things that I found. That people who volunteer have an increased self-esteem, self-efficacy, that's that can-do spirit, and a sense of connection. They also have reduced loneliness and depression. They have improved mental health. They tend to live longer when you volunteer. They have increased life satisfaction. So when you're volunteering, you're happier than if you don't volunteer. And they have better physical health. And the research kind of says that that's probably out. Even if it's, you're just walking from your car to the building that you're going into, you're still getting out a little bit more, and you're a little more physically moving around a little bit. And people who volunteer tend to have a sense of purpose. So I just say, knowing all those benefits of volunteering, why not get out there and volunteer and find out what's available? And tomorrow night is a perfect night for that, because we have our annual volunteer fair that's put on by our local Nevada Volunteers Organization and AmeriCorps, and we'll be there from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock at the Northeastern Nevada Museum, and there'll be all kinds of organizations that have volunteer opportunities, and I'll be there too, talking about 3 of our programs that have volunteer opportunities. So we would love to see you there and explain that more.
What a wonderful opportunity, Jill. Jill, of course, from our Elko County Extension Service through UNR, but right here at the Northeastern Nevada Museum. The volunteer fair, again, is Thursday, May 8th, free admission. I know there'll be a little meet and greet for the volunteers, the representatives of all the nonprofits just before the doors open to the public, Jill, and it's just a great way to introduce some of these organizations. At the same time, maybe you look for some more helping hands.
Yes, absolutely. I can speak for Extension, and we definitely need some volunteers. We need volunteers with our 4-H Youth Development Program as well as our Master Gardener Program. So in 4-H, we have volunteers who can help in a variety of ways. And sometimes we think, I've got to lead a club once a month for 12 months. I'm not sure I want to give that much time. But there's other opportunities too. We have certain events throughout the year where we need people to tabulate or to judge. And so if you have a few computer skills and don't mind working with a couple of other people, we could use you to help enter some data into the computer to figure out what our winners are, the contests and things like that. Or we have a lot of day camps coming up this summer, and we can use volunteers there. We have, of course, a whole variety of projects in 4-H. In fact, I was just in a meeting this morning, and one of my colleagues in Arizona is actually working with young people and teaching them welding and forging and blacksmithing. So sometimes we think that 4-H only has animals, but I want to tell you it's so much more than animals. And then also we have a lot of young children, 5 to 8-year-olds, that can be in 4-H, but the programming that we do with them is very different than what we do with our 9 to 19-year-olds, our official 4-H age. And we can always use people who enjoy that younger age group and leading, it might be a monthly activity with kids that age. And then we always need camp chaperones. It's camp season now, and if people love going to Lake Tahoe by chance and would like to enjoy some time with youth, we have both a teen camp and a week-long summer camp that young people could go to, and that we need volunteer chaperones to help. Of course, all of our volunteers with our 4-H Youth Development Program have to be fingerprinted because we want to do everything we can to run a background clearance and make sure that they're safe to work with our youth.
Yeah, that's important on both sides, and I'm sure anyone listening who is considering summer activities, civic clubs, lots of events and opportunities for their students this summer, please know that the 4-H Club is part of an international organization. I think it's something.
Is.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
is international.
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. So that means you are going to get those deep background checks and trusted leaders and adults who give the best guidance.
Yeah. And another way people can volunteer is maybe you have just a passion that you enjoy. Maybe it's crocheting or flower arranging or something like that. Really, like I mentioned, the sky is the limit as far as projects. And we have what we call special interest projects. And those are 6 hours or less, and people can do them, if you want to do it 6 different, an hour a week for 6 weeks, or if you want to do 2 workshops, 3 hours each, we kind of work with any configuration, but that's another way that people can be involved for just a short time and not feel like they have to give up their whole life to volunteer.
Jill Tingey is our guest today from Elko County 4-H, just talking about the extension services. Brittany Marich is doing amazing work as the 4-H coordinator. I know we're going to mention her too.
She is,
yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, you do. As I said, you have a great staff. But when we were talking about short term, it made me think about gardening, because I know I have a lot of friends and neighbors. They are gearing up for the growing season that we have here in Elko, the Elko County Garden Club. I think they're going to be having their plant sale, combining that with a ceramic sale from GBC. There are just some really neat opportunities. Oh, the Elko Community Garden also needs volunteers.
Yeah, definitely. Gardening, those who have a little bit of a green thumb but want to learn more, you don't have to be an expert. There's so much that we offer in our home horticulture certification, as well as our Master Gardener training classes. And so this is the perfect time of year to start thinking about getting involved in that. We, in order to be a Master Gardener volunteer, you do have to do some prerequisite classes. One is called the Home Horticulture Certification, and that class starts August 7th and goes through September 18th, and you need to register by July 28th. So there's plenty of time to kind of think about that and plan for that. And if you really enjoyed it and you do want to volunteer with Extension as a Master Gardener, or if you just want to carry on your knowledge and use it for your own personal garden, you can do that too. And then we have an advanced course, and that one begins in October and ends December 18th. Both of those do require the people to take a test, but there's study helps, and there's a live session that's recorded so that people can go back and kind of prepare for the test and get extra help with that if they need it. And then for those who are interested in being a Master Gardener, we have one Master Gardener, that's Amber Huff right now. We want to expand it. We have one person who's an intern, and as she finishes her hours, then she'll become a Master Gardener. So we're excited that we're almost ready to double our numbers in Master Gardeners in the county, and would love to see it double or triple from there as well. So, and there's so many opportunities right now. We really could use a Master Gardener who has some knowledge in fruit trees. I've had a lot of people come up to me just out in the community saying, I need help with my fruit trees. And so Master Gardeners do all kinds of education. They can work with youth, but they don't have to work with youth. It's just getting out there in the community and educating people on a whole variety of topics. But it's really what the Master Gardener's interest and topic is. They don't have to be knowledgeable in everything. They don't have to be able to identify insects or, certain things. It's really what they have an interest in. If you like beekeeping and you also like to plant plants that attract pollinators and bees. Certainly we have a place for you, but really there's a place for anyone with an interest in gardening.
And this is important too, Jill, that these classes and courses are flexible. A lot of the learning is done online and on your own schedule.
It is. It's done online, and so throughout the week, every week it's posted. There's materials that you can download, and then also there's a live class that you can participate in, or it's recorded, so you're able to watch the recording and prepare and just learn more. And it's just that's a plethora of information and materials that you're able to get.
That sounds wonderful. So visit online to get more information about that class in particular? Or?
Yes, certainly online is a great place to go. That's extension.unr.edu, or you can call our office at 738-7291, and we'll be glad to send you information as well.
That's great. Our Elko County Extension Service located at 701 Walnut Street, just a block or so up the campus from Great Basin College. We also want to talk about with Jill Tingey today, the teen camp. She mentioned volunteers are needed. Tough job chaperoning at Lake Tahoe. But you also need applicants to register in time for the May 23rd deadline.
We do, yeah. Our teen camp, we really want this to go this year, and we want to build from this year to future years, and we just want to get it started. And so we've kind of even opened it up to some of the California counties that are right there in the Lake Tahoe area. But we need young people. We have scholarships so that we can help young people pay for the camp. There is a minimum that they can pay, but it's really minimal. And so there's scholarships available, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually on the planning committee, so I can promise that we've got a lot of really good, engaging activities. And of course, you get to spend a couple hours at the beach every day because we're right. Our 4-H camp is on the beach. So, you can't go wrong there. And then you're up in the beautiful pines and looking across the lake, and it's just a beautiful setting. And then also, and so our teen camp is June 11th through the 14th, and that's for 13 to 18-year-olds. And so we haven't ever done a teen camp, and yet we know that young people need experiences to learn more leadership skills so that they can help lead activities with younger youth. And that's really the purpose of the camp, is that leadership training. And then also in July 12th through the 18th, we have our camp for 9 to 12-year-olds. That will be up at the lake at 4-H camp.
So if you've ever wanted to give your youngster the experience of having a camp, a summer camp experience, they'll meet other teens. It's completely supervised, delicious food. I mean, there's nothing like having s'mores out there by the campfire. And you're busy parents, you have a long summer ahead. Register now and ask about these scholarships, and do that by calling the Extension Service, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, Jill, thanks. What great opportunities. Again, though, the deadline is coming right up. It's May 23rd, so don't delay. Get on that right away. Teen camp is for 13 to 18. 4-H camp is for 9 to 12-year-olds. And again, some of the examples of some of the camps that we're going to be doing locally.
Locally, we're doing a lot of day camps. I'm feel bad taking Brittany's thunder away, just because she's our 4-H coordinator and just does a fantastic job and very creative. So we actually have an animal science livestock coordinator who's based on the state level, and she'll be coming out on June 10th and 11th. On June 10th, she'll be doing an animal science day camp for kids who are 9 to 19, and it's really great for kids who are getting ready for the fair. This is like the perfect day camp to attend. It'll be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And they'll get a lot of really good, hard information about their projects and what they should be doing to get ready for the fair. And then our Clover Buds, which are kids who are 5 to 8 years old, will come and participate in activities that are geared just for them, all related to animals. So any animal lovers, there's something for you at either of these camps, depending on your age. We are teaming up again to offer our tennis camp. Our tennis day camp will be June 11th through the 18th. And of course, they're meeting at the city tennis courts. And it was a wonderful opportunity last year, so I'm sure it's going to be great again this year.
You're taught by a tennis pro.
It is taught by a tennis pro. Yes.
Very nice. That's an amazing opportunity right here in Elko.
It is, yeah. And it ties in with our fourth H, which is health. A lot of times we overlook that fourth H, but it's so important in all of our lives. So, also we do a lot of things with our kids who are 5 to 8 years old. We call them Clover Buds, and our Clover Buds have a day camp on June 18th. And it's a lot of fun. It's actually led by our county ambassadors, which are our older teens who've, applied, and then they've been planning for a couple of months on the activities that they will lead. And they just make it such a fun day, and they work really hard. And definitely our little Clover Buds leave just full of plenty of activities that they've made that they're taking home, and they're excited, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, and they have these great mentors and those older teens. Yeah,
they really do. Yeah.
Neat.
And then we'll be doing a Health Rocks camp in Carlin on the 23rd to the 25th of June. And then I'm so excited. This, Lori, is thanks to you and connecting me to Cheryl Miller out at the California Trail Interpretive Center. Cheryl has been great to work with. We'll be doing a day camp out there for a 4-H day camp. We just quickly named it Hitting the Trail. And so it'll be 2 days. We'll start it on June 30th from 8:30 to 12:30, and then again we'll come back the next day in the afternoon, starting at 1 and go till 8:30 p.m. And in the evening, for the evening programs, the parents will be able to come out and families will come out and join us for dinner and hopefully square dancing and campfire. But all of our activities will definitely revolve around the wonderful resources that we have at the California Interpretive Trail. And so we're just really excited. We've got a lot planned. And again, our 4-H county ambassadors will help lead those activities. But we could always use volunteers to just be there as additional adults to help kids. And I just want to say, for all of these events that I have mentioned, whether it's overnight camp at Tahoe or these day camps, you don't have to be a 4-H member to participate. They can call the office. We'll get you signed up and make sure that we have your health form on file, and to make sure everyone is safe. But we definitely want young people to participate. Some of these events are completely free. Some of them have a minimal fee. So it just depends on what we're doing. But it's definitely for everyone in the community.
Oh, Jill, thanks. I'm so excited about that. That's fantastic. And obviously anyone listening, if you have a financial need, I mean, we will do everything we can to make sure that people have access to these opportunities. It's called paying it forward. Yeah,
absolutely. And we do have, an account where we can provide some scholarships too. So if it's not a state camp, there's sometimes scholarships that way, but if not, locally, we've got an account too that we use for scholarships. And so we don't want anyone to feel that they can't participate because it's financially what's keeping them from being able to get involved.
Yep, lots of us who were little kids once had these opportunities thanks to a generous community who made sure that nobody got turned away from summer camp.
That's right, yeah. And then lastly, July 7th through 9th, we have our 4-H Health Rocks camp. I have to say, we do a lot of really hands-on fun things related to just being healthy emotionally, as well as, preventing or at least knowing about what we take into our bodies, how that can affect us now and later on. And so that's what our 4-H Health Rocks program is. And I'm excited. We were doing a camp during spring break out in Carlin, and the kids were like, wait, how come we're not doing any Health Rocks activities? They loved them so much. So that was a great thing to know that they really had enjoyed that.
They were looking forward to that too. Yeah. 4-H Health Rocks. And as Jill's mentioned, the fourth H is for health, and that includes your mental health and wellness, obviously. So a lot of emphasis on that. Those were wonderful activities. Yeah. Well, and speaking of, we get to transition a little bit and talk more about some of these great 4-H projects, and some of them do involve animals if you're so fortunate.
Yeah. So the only reason I mention our goat workshops, they've been going on for several weeks now, but we have a former 4-H'er who's just graduated last year, and she's been leading these all throughout the winter and now spring. And it's just really neat to watch those young people come back to the program and pay it forward because of all they've learned. They're trying to help build the next generation. And so that's the main reason I wanted to kind of give a shout out to Allie and just how much we appreciate her as a volunteer in teaching these workshops. And so, that's in May. May is really May, June, July. We're definitely in August. Busy months for 4-H. One thing that's really exciting, that's a nice collaboration with University of Nevada, Reno Extension in the Elko County office with the Nevada Outdoor School, the Children's Cabinet. They are putting together a program called Little Choices, Big Impact. It's a community event. It'll be held at in our office. It'll be in our backyard, which we call our courtyard. And we will have all kinds of different workshops that they'll be offering. I know we have Amber Huff and Gail Ross teaching composting. One of our own staff, Sienna Parker, she's our SNAP Ed coordinator. She'll be doing an activity on healthy food choices. And I think you get to taste a snack too, with a healthy snack that she'll be providing. And so I know they've got a lot of activities planned, and that event is open to the public, whether you're have young children or not. You are welcome to attend. It's from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So a lot of different activities. Yes, with Children's Cabinet, we are kind of focused on youth, and Nevada Outdoor School, but that's not only what we're focusing on. So the composting is kind of geared for kids, but also adults will learn something from it too. And you can't find two better people to teach that than Gail and Amber too. So.
Oh, this is great. I have a flyer because another one of your great collaborators and fans is Gail Rappa from Continuing Education at Great Basin College. And all of these agencies and organizations have one thing in common, and that is providing these wonderful activities for our community, strengthening our community, Jill, and giving students wonderful choices of things to do.
Yeah. And so there'll be lots of little, activities and things to do in the backyard. And then, of course, we have our publication rack inside the office that you can come and get all kinds of free materials and, find out more about the programs that we offer.
Yeah, that courtyard, it's a great little space. The Extension office is located at 701 Walnut Street. Again, sort of an extension, if you think about it, of GBC, obviously.
Is.
Yeah.
It's actually a GBC building.
Exactly, and it's nice to share that. I think that's where the dorms are, too, on the other half.
Yeah, on the other half,
so
yes.
You have students coming and going all the time. So thank you for reminding us of that. And that is not all, because you've got...
Sorry, I'm taking so much time.
No, this is what we have you here for, Jill. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Something that people don't always think about is that one of our projects in 4-H is art. And we have an arts and crafts club that meets monthly. And I know they've got a lot of fun things planned for the summer. I know one thing was tie-dyeing. I know another was painting, but I forgot to ask what maze is, and it might be one of those. But I just have the most loving leader who works with youth on that, and we always welcome more youth to participate. It's a lot of fun to come in. It's just a 1-hour project and kind of a take and make project is what they do. And then we still have rabbits, and believe it or not, we still have kids in the poultry project. Some people may have forgotten that we still have the avian flu. And here in Nevada, we have a stop to all poultry exhibitions or fairs or shows right now. And we're hoping that eventually that will be lifted. But for now, we know that we cannot have any live poultry coming together. But the good news is we still do workshops. You don't get to bring your birds, but you still get to learn plenty about your birds, whether they be game birds, poultry, and of course that's for our youth, but a great opportunity. So that day, May 16th, where we have the Little Choices Big Impact, that's from 10 to 1. And then after that, we have our art club that starts at 3. Then we have the rabbit workshop at 4. And then at 5 o'clock, the poultry workshop. will occur. So a lot of things that day, it's crazy in the office, but it's a really fun crazy.
That sounds great. Again, no poultry will be there, but there'll be plenty of, well, you can pass around pictures of your poultry if you like. That's what cell phones are
and we're
for.
working on a virtual show.
Exactly.
So, that's a great thing that poultry, the way they show it is a very individual way of showing for showmanship. And so it lends to videotaping really well. So we'll probably do some kind of a videotape show where kids can still get awards for
that's fantastic.
working with their animals.
Oh, good. And then everybody loves their dog.
Yeah, we're so excited. It's been really hard to find dog leaders, and we have 2 parents who've just stepped up. And so they've got the summer, they're working on getting the summer planned out for dogs. So any kids who wanted to show dogs or learn more about their own dog are certainly welcome to come and join that. We have workshops on May 13th and 21st, and those are at 5:30 p.m. at the office. And this is just classroom information. We definitely want them to bring their parents with them so that everyone kind of knows the expectations. We always want to kind of have those before we bring in lots of different dogs from different places and make sure we can make it safe for kids. So that's why we have the classroom workshops first. And then we'll start, and the kids will start dog training and bringing their dogs starting in May, and then going in the 17th and the 25th of June. And then we'll set more dates throughout the summer. And with the hopes that by the end of summer, we'll have a dog show where kids will have learned enough to be able to show their dogs.
It's so fun to come and watch them and see how eager the dogs are too, because the dogs love learning and they love pleasing their owners. So really fun. And you've tucked in here a workshop on vet science.
Yes. So we have just a wonderful collaboration right now with Elko Vet Clinic, and Dr. Kaiser, I should say, have been putting on workshops for us. They also do vet shadowing, and so every month they send us a list of, okay, here's the dates that kids can come in and shadow us, and the kids that I've talked to love doing that they've learned so much being able to shadow the vets. And so we really appreciate that wonderful partnership that we have with them. But Dr. Brandy Kaiser will be doing a veterinary science workshop for kids on May 27th. And she and her husband did a wonderful one I don't know if it was a month ago or 2 months ago on biosecurity, and that being such a big deal with all that's going on in the world with diseases. The more we can know about exercising good biosecurity when we bring in new animals, whether it's a baby chick or whether it's a bigger animal, how do we just introduce it to the herd that we already have, or are we careful about how we do those things so that we can keep all of our animals safe and healthy?
Those are just some of the opportunities, of course, as we're talking with Jill Baker-Tingey, our cooperative extension educator. And of course, she is a team leader right here on Elko at our extension office at 701 Walnut Street. Many of these workshops and activities are ramping up for the month of May. And there are some actual workshops where, like, for example, the show where you can come and see these students exhibit their new skills.
Yeah, so our little Clover Buds, our 5 to 8 year olds, we do a little show for them. If they have animals, sheep or goats, or we can't do poultry this year, but rabbits, they get to show those. And what we do is we hold a little workshop a week or so before that. And this is our county ambassadors again who present the workshop, kind of teach kids how to show. And then they come, they bring usually their siblings' animals, and they get to show them. And then for the kids who don't have animals, we have other things. They can bring a house plant. They can bring an arts and crafts, Legos, if they've baked something. So kind of a whole variety of things, a STEM project that they've done, and they can display those. And then each of our ambassadors interview the kids, and so they get to talk about their project, and then they all get an award. So that's a really fun little Clover Bud show. And again, youth-led, it's wonderful to see our young people really exercise those leadership skills that they're building.
Yep, and that's ages 5 to 8, and it really helps them to build that confidence, because how many adults know what it feels like to make a presentation, to get up in front of a crowd, or
That's right.
even just talking to colleagues or coworkers. So this kind of sets the stage.
It does.
Cool. I know a couple more things too to mention. There is a photography workshop, which, hey, if you like this, you might find your photograph on the Elko, the new e-center's event calendar in the future.
Yes. We, people don't always think of that either, that we do photography, and we even have a national photography contest. But there's just so much to do in photography. And we have a workshop on June 13th up in the canyon at 5 p.m. And so our 4-Hers, a lot of them love going up there. We usually have one of our professional photographers as our workshop presenter on that. And so they'll meet the kids in the canyon and work with them and give them some great tips on taking pictures of nature.
Nice. And again, these are free or low cost, or if you have to borrow some equipment, I mean, like, as a community, I'm sure we can come together and help to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to participate, Jill.
Yeah.
Super cool. So the last two things, I know I just read about this on the paper you gave me, this tribal summit. Sounds really cool.
It is really cool. So in Extension, we have a federally recognized Extension tribal program. We call that FERTEP. And they have been working really hard on putting together a conference on tribal agriculture and food systems. And it's for growers, it's for tribal leaders and community members. And it'll be May 13th through the 15th, so next week at the Maverick Casino Hotel. And we're really excited that they're doing that statewide conference here in Elko.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
And so this is an opportunity. They'll be looking at tribal ag and food systems, growers, leaders, community members are all invited.
Yeah.
You could
learning
see
about where to, how to finance some of your
small business ideas,
small business and your operations. So they've got a lot of good help on that as well as like the general, what should I grow, or how would I build a hoop house? All those kinds of things will be discussed.
Oh, great opportunity. That's May 13th through the 15th. And then finally, our friends with the Northeastern Nevada Stewardship Group are also pitching in.
Such a great group. Some of my favorite people are putting together a grass and forb identification workshop on May 29th from 9 to 3. It's a field trip, so they have to meet at the Extension office by 9 or sooner, because they'll be leaving at 9, and they'll go out and be doing some great plant ID out there. And some of our retirees who we've worked with for years, Jerry Miller and Doug Clark, are two of the presenters. And then Paul Myman. Paul is our Extension Natural Resources Rangeland specialist, and so Paul's kind of leading the charge on that.
That's a wonderful opportunity. I would assume they would hope you could register in advance, or at least reach out to the stewardship group.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, reach out to Doug Clark, and then you'll get registered in that way.
All right, Jill. We've covered a lot of ground today. I knew we would. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And of course, if this isn't enough information for you, you should go to our local extension website again, because you'll find so much information. There are studies on there that date back, say, to 2017. Every year you issue an annual Elko County report. So there's one on there for 23-24, covers all the things that we talked about and much more. So find out how Extension works for you, works for our community, and how we can support Extension by participating. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us for Elko Live today, featuring Jill Tingey. She is our local Elko County Extension Educator.